Now we'll go through some of the technical commands you can go through to install our custom cross-compute JupyterLab extensions and recreate one of our example reports. Today we'll be recreating the load profiles example report that you can see here. The cross-compute report automation framework was recently featured by the Python Software Foundation as a success story. You can read about it on python.org. And don't forget to support the Python Software Foundation for more projects like this. First step, we'll install a virtual environment. And if your repository uses system packages such as GDAL, you should specify system site packages. However, ours does not, so you can just skip that option. We're going to activate our virtual environment. First step, we'll install the crosscompute-jupyterlab-extensions. While this is happening, let me just show you a little bit of report structure. So the report is based on config files, mark down your code in the individual sections in the notebook, markdown text in this markdown, and your styles in the CSS file, as well as to define some tests to make sure that that particular section works as expected. Okay, I'm going to upgrade pip. So we haven't cloned our repository yet. Let's get it from the site. Takes a while because the data sets are actually in the repository. So if you first start JupyterLab, you're going to get an error saying that the token is not defined when you try to run the report. This is the JupyterLab interface. We love JupyterLab. It's been using it since it was Jupyter Notebook. Great for quickly prototyping different algorithms. So if you open Run IPMB, you'll see this, our custom button here. Click on it. It'll say token is required in the environment. So to get the token, go to crosscompute.com and sign in. And copy the token that's there and restart JupyterLab after you pasted your token. This will give you access to the printer when you're printing your PDF. Okay, so now when we try to click, one thing we forgot actually is we need to install the packages that are specific to this report. So they're in setup sh. We just use a couple of standard packages. So while this is installing, oh, I guess it finished. Okay, so now we're ready to run the report. Open run IPMB at the root, click the button. So you can see it's generating the sections in parallel. If you have a computer with multiple cores, we only pick 2 of the cities that the DOE had example data sets for, but I think there was over 100. For the purpose of this example, only showing 2. That's going to take a while. In the meantime, I'll show you. So report YAML is where the report is configured. There's the different sections of the report here. It defines the file where the report is styled, as well as where header and footer are defined, such as for page numbers. A report takes an input variables and has output variables and templates. Let's look, for example, into the residential section. So it's sections, residential, and define and result YAML. So this is the definition of that section. It takes an input and has, so it's based on this tool. So this whole format will be simplified in about 3 to 6 months. But the overall idea is each section takes in an input and has output. And each of the output variables can have different view, such as text, markdown, table, image, map, electricity network. And so you can see here, get a zip file with all of your PDFs. Let's look at South Dakota Rapid City. You see it's done in landscape format. So here's the residential load profiles. So you can see here we have output variables. Where it's defined is in this markdown file. So you can see residential load profiles. We have the variable placeholder. Let's take a quick look at the actual raw markdown. So you can see here, this is conditional markdown that's been generated. These are the different, you have a page break here. So the main idea is, using our framework, we've separated the styling, the text, and the code, which makes for a cleaner report automation experience. You will also need to define some tests for each section to make sure that, and the tests are just specifying input variables, and to make sure that the output variables defined in your config files are actually generated properly. So that's a summary. You'll find more examples in our cross-compute examples repository. And I'd like to thank all the team that made this possible. A lot of this was created over many years, especially this extension was made in 2020. And I'd like to thank Rodrigo Guaracci, Polino Chardromaz, Miguel Angel Gordian, Olga Kreutzberg, Salah Ahmed, Sam Anderson, and Marta Modeno, and all the others that were involved in making this possible, as well as the support of APPA and everybody that's helped us along the way. See. Thanks, everybody, and we'll be back with another video soon.